Chapter 11. Mercy. Rohma was on her knees next to Aya's body, but in her mind, she was on the raft. Her hand was plunged into the ice-cold water. She was terrified. Tears ran down her cheeks. "What did you offer?" Yashira asked, her face close to Rohma's. "Peace." Rohma pulled the word from her body. "That was not yours to give." Yashira shook her head. "Even mercy has its tithe, girl. Do you know what you've offered?" Rohma froze. She looked across the raft to Yashira, understanding everything fully, suddenly. "Oblivion." "Oblivion," the woman nodded. Rohma redoubled her efforts. Oblivion wasn't death. It was worse. So much worse. "I can't reach." Rohma felt almost panicked. "Go deeper. Reach with both of your hands. You are giving her pain back, but you are also giving her life. Remind her. Show her. Find her." Rohma leaned in, her hands on the edge of the raft. The old woman was behind her and pushed her into the water. She fell off the raft, terror and emptiness filling her. In the darkness, Aya floated. She was still even there. Rohma reached out for her, and Aya's eyes shot open. The girl clung to her. There were no words, no strokes, and no fight that brought them to the surface, only a mutual desire to live. Once their heads broke the surface of the water, Yashira had them. The raft, the water, the spinning sky disappeared. Rohma opened her eyes. The cream color of Yashira's mourning robe was all she could see. The old woman held her head in her lap, arms covering her face. Rohma moved an arm away and saw the woman looking down at her. "Is she?" "She has returned," Yashira smiled. The years looked so long on her face suddenly. Rohma shivered from the cold depths. Her eyes widened with the memory of a sensation, a knowing that she hadn't processed at the time. There was something else in the water, something beyond her, beyond Aya, something ancient and hungry. "There was something else in the water," Rohma whispered and sat up next to Yashira. The old woman nodded. "Yes, it devours. That is all that I can tell you for now." "Where were we?" "I always thought that the water was in Drei, but it isn't, is it?" Yashira thought for a moment. "There is a place deep in every living thing where we are connected. That is where we were. It looks different to everyone, but always somehow the same. There is a depth or a distance. There is a shadow and danger. It is always the same and never." Kaede rolled out of his cot, his body stiff from years of travel and broken sleep. He could hear Sin calling him before he even got out of bed. "Kaede! Drei's bleeding again. It's pretty bad." Kaede strode to Drei and began pulling her shirt off without hesitation. Drei reflexively held her shirt down. "Don't fight me, girl. I'm not interested in that." Kaede waved off her concern, focused entirely on the pond-stinking, bloody mess of her arm. "I need to see the wound. Sen, get out of here and get the doctor," Kaede ordered. Drei pulled off her shirt and turned away from Kaede. He handed her a thin blanket without looking. Kaede pulled 2 chairs together near the fire, and they sat. She dropped her arm in his lap, and he wrapped it tightly. "This'll stop the bleeding until the doctor gets here. Where is Rohma?" "She went back to the Akawan pavilion." Rohma discovered that the widow saw the murder. It was Jum and Hoya. No, it was Jum, but Hoya saw it. "I guess they fought." "Who is the widow?" Kaede held her hand, looking at her. She was far too pale and confused. "Tievan, he was married right before he was murdered. That was his plan." Drei smiled weakly. Then a woman with a leather satchel stepped inside. "Drei," she asked quietly. "Here." Kaede motioned to her. "Is the boy outside?" "He is." The doctor nodded as she and Kaede traded places. The doctor unwrapped Drei's arm and tisked. Blood oozed through some stitches. That's really not good, the doctor sighed. You must not get wet like this again. The stitches are sealed with the pith of a guerrero root. It can seal the wound, but it will not withstand water. She started to work quietly, except for the occasional low-voiced curse. Drei sniffed and winced from the discomfort as the woman worked. She washed it, applied tonics that burned, and then moved to closing the wound itself. She removed some stitches and added others. Outside the tent, the night was continuing into morning, still dark and quiet. "What's going on, boy?" Kaede asked Sen, pushing him down into a chair. "Just like we said we would, we went to the viewing. And then for a swim? Dex." Kaede exhaled his real name like a command. "No," Sen hung his head. "Report, boy." Kaede paced away, then gave the lad a moment and walked back. Dex stood at attention and explained the situation. Kaede didn't look at him, instead focusing on a fixed point in the horizon. "You pulled them both out?" "Yes, sir." "Rohma's starting to have problems," Kaede stated. Dex started, wanting to rush to her defense, but paused. "She's going to get hurt." Kaede gave Dex a long, hard look. "No more looking into this. Rohma is at Akawan?" Kaede asked. "Yes, that is where she was supposed to go." "Good. I will see about her and talk to the clan." Kaede looked toward the tent. "You stay here and keep that one," he pointed towards the tent's entrance, "away from Sifis." "Yes, sir." "Stay with her." Inside the tent smelled of herbs, tea, and a hint of fresh blood. It was warm, and Dex found herself close to sleep. She held the bitter tea in her good hand and sipped it. When the doctor finished tending Drei's wound, she rewrapped the injury. "It's strange how difficult it is to fix something so easy to cause," Drei mumbled, running her fingers over her arm. "It is," the doctor agreed, packing her bag. "This is not healed. Do not get it wet. Do not overuse this arm. Rest. Pain is a warning. Let it guide you." Pain is a warning. The thought moved through Drei. It felt important. "What do you know of the mystics?" Drei asked suddenly. The doctor paused, thought for a moment, and looked at Drei. "Why?" she asked. "Why don't the herbalists speak?" Drei continued. The doctor set down her bag. "They have nothing to say." Drei almost laughed, but then saw the seriousness of the doctor's face. "Why?" Drei asked in a whisper. In her heart, she thought she knew, but she needed to hear it. The doctor sighed and began packing again. "I don't really know. They must be told to eat, to drink, to perform every task, no matter how simple. But they can't hold a thought for long." "Do they know who they are?" "They know they're herbalists. I have to go. Good night." The doctor left without any further word. As the doctor left, Sen ducked in. "Better?" "Yes." Drei raised her bandaged arm, smiling sleepily. "You should finish the tea. I'll get you to bed." Dex sat down and waited. As the sun rose on the Akawan pavilion, the white-robed mourners still lingered both inside and outside. Some slept on benches, some lay in grass. Aya now sat on the table where she'd been laid earlier and asleep close to death. Kaede waved at a steam of incense smoke as he stepped in and looked around. Rohma was speaking to a young widow who sat on the table next to a resting body of what must have been Taven. A grandmotherly woman approached him. "We must speak to each other about our charges." Kade's eyebrow raised in mild confusion. "Charges?" "You're Rohma and my Aya," she spoke matter-of-factly, with an aura of control, the matriarch of a great family. Kaede let a beat pass, listening. He knew how much respect this woman deserved. "I am Yashira. This is my clan." The statement left no question. She had absolute power in this pavilion. "You need help training Rohma. She is a danger to herself and anyone she comes in contact with. I don't want to see her turned over to the herbalists." "But I will," Yashira paused, expecting Kaede to argue. He waited. We will take Rohma. We have learned to exist as mystics, and she can be trained. Yashira paused again. After her training, she will be free to do or serve whomever she likes, Yashira confirmed. This is generous. And what of Aya? My grandson's widow and my new granddaughter. She witnessed Tevan's death, a murder of jealousy by a man named Jum. It can be confirmed by a second witness, a man named Hoya. They are the heads of the mercenary guild Sifis. I know them. They're also enemies of mine and my guild. The woman smiled. Good. So in this we are friends. She extended a hand. Kaede, Tassos Guild. In exchange for Rohma's training, we can offer protection to your clan. For the entire duration of her training? Yashira asked. How long will that be? Yashira turned to Rohma and considered. She has talent, which could speed or slow the process, but I suspect a year, perhaps 2. Kaede nodded. Reasonable. Tassos will be Clan Akawan's bonded mercenary guild. We will prioritize your needs above any other contract. Kaede paused and met her eyes. Now the true haggling. For the standard price, of course. Yashira smiled gently. Her training is expensive and rare. When we are done, she will be an exquisite tool. 50%. Kaede sighed. If your needs are great and we are kept at work, then 50 could work. But I don't think you have that many enemies. 90%. You would be surprised at how many enemies this guild has, starting with Sifis, who you would like to fight for free. 65. Your bargain is hard, my lady, but my guild is hungry, and battles are not won with empty stomachs. 85. Shrewd, Yashira smiled, considering. 80. She knew that settled it. Very generous. Kaede bowed. Now, we have the matter of Jum. Aya witnessed him murder my grandson. She witnessed an argument between him and his second, Hoya. I would like Rohma to stay with us for the rest of the day, and we will be taking this issue to the Imperial Clerk. That day passed quickly. Sen and Drei didn't have any competitions themselves, but they were busy all day assisting others, from mucking stalls to preparing meals. Kaede had every moment of their day accounted for. Inside the city of Shahob, at the main estate of the Akawan clan, things were peaceful and clean, so different from the fair outside the gates. Rohma spent her day in training with Yashira or tending Aya, who was still recovering. That evening, when the air was cooler, Yashira determined it was time for Aya to report the murder to the Imperial Clerk. Rohma walked with Yashira and Aya. Yashira was now dressed more traditionally. A babushka covered her hair with a colorful saffron. Aya wore a beautiful colored dress and a kokoshinik, a crown full of beads and colorful hues. She entered the Imperial Clerk's office, and Rohma and Yashira waited in the wings. Rohma played the practical role of Yashira's helper. The clerk stood and introduced himself. I am Clerk Viron. I am Aya, granddaughter of the Akawan Guild, former daughter of Tassos Guild, and the widow of Tevan Akawan. This is my grandmother, Yashira Akawan. Aya gestured to Yashira, who simply nodded. It is an honor to meet you, Clerk Viron said with a nod. I witnessed the murder of my husband. He was killed by the guildmaster of Sifis, Sir Jum. This was also witnessed by his second, Hoya. The Clerk Viron pursed his lips. Did anyone else witness this attack? Aya didn't shrink, but answered truthfully. No. Her word should suffice. It must. The clerk nodded. And you have a cause? Yes. Sir Jum believed he was removing my husband as a rival in love. Not from me, but from a girl Jum mistakenly believed was of interest to my husband. Aya crinkled her brow, but continued. His second, Hoya, was furious. He claimed this was not the first time that Joom had put their guild in danger because of a woman. Fine, Clerk Viron said with a nod. These are serious charges, and I intend to investigate. He flipped through some paperwork. Do you know the name of the other girl? Drei Sano, Rohma offered. The clerk looked up from his papers. Drei Sano is Joom's legal wife. What? Rohma gasped. The papers are here, filed this morning. They've been wed. It lacks her signature, but her mother signed. Also, it is binding. I expect to see a copy with her signature in a few days. Clerk Viron smiled gently. Are you sure it was Sir Joom? Rohma ran from the office and through the city streets. Meanwhile, Kaede and Drei attended the mid-festival feast. It should have been young Dex, but I don't want you left unsupervised, he said. Now at the feast table, he looked across at Drei and shook his head. Your face. You used to be a pretty girl, Drei. Now? Her right eye was still swollen from the day before, and now both cheeks and her upper lip were puffy from the competition. Her arm ached. You look awful, girl. I asked you to consider your life here, and I meant it. I will protect you against Siphus and Joom, no matter what. But you don't have to be a fighter. You're smart. Good with a needle? There are other ways you can serve the guild, Kaede offered quietly. Awards were being announced, but Kaede barely paid attention, as if he already knew the results. Drei had no doubt that he did. I want to fight, Drei answered. I'm a good fighter. You're more than that, Drei. One day, a good commander. She met his eye, sure of herself and determined. He couldn't help but smile. Maybe. Then, from the podium in the center of the feast, for excellence in riding, Dex Kaede, mercenary guild Tassos. Guildmaster Kaede went to accept the reward. Drei raised an eyebrow, looking curiously at Kaede when he returned. You won the riding competition? Drei asked. What? Kaede laughed. Dex Kaede? Wait, that's you, isn't it? Guildmaster Kaede. The guildmaster laughed. No. Sin won the riding competition. His name is Dex Kaede. He unrolled the scroll so Drei could read it. Drei was honestly surprised. I didn't know. The two looked nothing alike. Sin was already Kaede's height and would likely grow taller. Kaede had black, curly hair that he braided tightly and a dark complexion. Sin was fair, and his hair was straight and sandy. Dex, was to be formally adopted by Kaede himself? Neither does he, Kaede stated flatly, rolling up the scroll. There was a pause. Then, almost unwillingly, Drei asked, Where did you find him? Kaede didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was flat. It was in the snow, in the north. We were sent there as punishment. Not the Fad Sredith, us. The Dharam think it's clever. When a guild disobeys or underperforms, they send us north to burn empty villages and pretend it means something. The patrol got ahead of me. They found a camp, an old man and a young fighter. Woman, though they didn't know until after. The tent was torn to shreds. Goats slaughtered for the want of more killing. The woman violated. She might have been alive when they started. Her body was blue by the time I got there. He rubbed his thumb along the edge of the scroll, not looking at Drei. 5 mercs died in that camp. That old man and a girl, dead. But they killed 5. I remember that. And then I found him. He was curled under the corner of a ripped tent, in a hole scooped out of the ice, not crying, not shivering, eyes shut, face blank like a rabbit kit hiding in a burrow. I thought he might be dead, but I touched his cheek, warm, breathing, alive. I told him to open his eyes. He didn't. So I sat there. I put my hand on his back. Sat there a long time, just watching his mother stare at me. I told her I can give him mercy, a quick death. He looked up at Drei now, not angry, not sad. She didn't answer either. Drei watched him for a long moment. Why Dex? Kaede blinked, then looked past her, toward nothing. It's one of their words. He let the silence stretch before adding, mercy.